Hello again, vinyl community, Matt here. So it's that time of year again, time for the vinyl tag. Now, I have not participated in this before. This will be my third year as part of the vinyl community. Third year of making YouTube videos. And yeah, I mean, so 2017, 2018, I didn't take part for whatever reason. But 2019, I don't know, New Year's resolutions and all that, I think it's time. Now, I got a list of questions. They're on the screen over here, but my eyesight ain't so good. I can't read over there, so I gotta put my magic glasses on. Nerd. Some of you might have seen these before. Occasionally, if I've been driving or something, and I've worn these, but I do wear glasses. Some of you probably didn't know that. I rarely wear them in my videos, but like I said, I have done before. So let's get right into the questions. So these are all vinyl and music related questions. There's 20 of them. So I guess let's get cracking. So first of all, we had to name our best find of 2018. Now, many of you will know I've made several videos about the Rat Hole, my new favorite record store. When it first opened, I got a couple of great deals. And I couldn't decide between the two of them. So two soundtracks, Raiders of the Lost Ark and Back to the Future. These were $1.88 each. Back to the Future in particular, it's still in the shrink, still got the hype sticker. These are original pressings. They should have been, or for the two of them, certainly $30, if not more than that. So it was probably my best find of 2018. Let's see. Question number 2. Shout out to other VC channels who you think deserve more viewers. I'm going to go with Steve at Value Vinyl. Steve and Bree and his wife Nikki occasionally is in the videos too. But Steve and Bree is his daughter. They're the main guys in the videos. And I thought Steve had more subscribers. I think he has about 150, or it was under 200 last time I checked. And he is pretty new to the vinyl community, don't get me wrong, but it seemed like he's pretty popular already, so I thought he had more. So I think he counts. So I'm going to throw his name out there. Look him up. Like I said, his channel name is Value Vinyl. Just a really great guy, extremely entertaining and funny, and he puts a lot of work into his videos as well. Like more and more I'm seeing that he's adding, you know, special effects and things like that. So big shout out to Steve. Question number 3, what holes are you looking to fill in your collection? I assume that means like for the coming year. Britpop. I do have a couple of Oasis albums. One I bought myself, one that Robert Edward, New York guy, very kindly sent me. It was very kind of him. I have Pulp, I have one or two others, but in particular, I'm looking to fill out 1 or 2 more Oasis albums. I almost bought one today, actually. I almost bought Definitely Maybe, but I held off. I'd like to get Blur. I don't have any Blur on vinyl whatsoever. Lush and Echo Belly, for sure. So, yeah, we'll see. Lush, the album is Love Life. Now, here's the thing. I can pick up a best of Lush. You could probably pick it up for around $40, okay? Love Life tends to go for, if you get it for 30, that's a great deal, but it's usually more like 50. The reason I want to get Love Life is that it has my favorite Lush song on it, which is called Tra La La. That song is not on the best of, so you know, so I'm kind of holding out for that. I'll get it. I'll get it one of these days. Okay, next question. Name a cheap album that's really good. Now, I actually made a video about this. One of my first videos, so we're going back, well, close to 2 years anyway. One of my first videos that I made on YouTube was talking about thrift store records that are better than you might think. So, you know, bargain bin, $1, $2 records that are really common in thrift stores, but which I assume is kind of what this is talking about, you know, a cheap album, but it's actually pretty good. And I'm going to go with Huey Lewis and the News Sports. I see this fairly often in thrift stores, or at least when I was thrifting. I haven't really done that for a little while, but it's a good album. I mean, you know, it's got the heart of rock and roll. I Want a New Drug. That's a great track. Come on. If This Is It, you know, what's not to like about it? It's Huey. Come on. So you should be able to get that for $1 or $2. Even in a record store, I wouldn't expect to pay more than $5 for it. Next question. Your favorite side project album? Now, this is probably the question I had the hardest time with, because it depends on what you count as a side project. I almost thought, could I get away with like Wings or something? I thought, no, because that was like Paul McCartney's main band, and his solo career was kind of on hold for the most part during the Wings years. So, nah, I can't get away with that. So I went with the only side project album that I think I have, and that is Arcadia, So Red the Rose. Now, Arcadia was several Duran Duran members. Let's see if it tells me who. Okay, so Roger Taylor, Nick Rhodes, and Simon Le Bon. That's not all of Duran Duran, but that's, I think, how many Duran Duran members were there? 5? I don't remember. Anyway, the other couple of guys, when their side project was the Power Station. Funnily enough, I used to have that album, but in my Great November vinyl purge, I got rid of it, so I don't have it anymore. So Arcadia, So Red the Rose. The big hit on here, of course, was Election Day. That was, I want to say it was like a #2 hit in the UK, something like that. Okay, question number 6. A song from an artist or a band that is uncharacteristic of them, uncharacteristic in their catalogue. Well, I'm going to say pretty much the entire Queen Hot Space album. If you take out Under Pressure, well, not only is the album not particularly great if you take it Under Pressure, but it's basically a disco album. It's completely unlike the rest of their catalogue. And you know, they weren't the only band, the only rock band to dip their toes in the disco waters. Kiss did it famously, you know, with like I Was Made for Loving You. But Queen, you know, made a whole album out of it, and it's not particularly great, to be honest. So yeah, the entire Hot Space album is very uncharacteristic of them. Next question. The last album you purchased. Well, this is going to ruin my upcoming video where I was going to, well, I do show this album because I already filmed the video, but that's okay. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Into the Great Wide Open. I just bought this today from the Mad Platter in Riverside. 25 bucks, you know. But it was brand new. It's got Learning to Fly, Into the Great Wide Open, title track. The Dark of the Sun is a great song. Built to Last, it's a great song too. A lot of my favorite Tom Petty songs on here. Next question. A great album with a bad cover. I've never shown this album before, I don't think. And that is Rory Block, I've Got a Rock in My Sock. Now, she's delved into various genres. I mean, she's been around since the 70s. And like in the late 70s, she was more kind of disco-y. And then she went sort of blues, which suits her much better. I mean, her voice is very bluesy. And here's the back of it. The back of it's not any better. I mean, look at... I guess this doctor here is gonna take his shoes off to find the rock, you know, root around her feet to find the rock, I guess. But this album is actually really good, and there's one song on here in particular, which is the second to last song on the album. It's called Lovin' Whiskey. That's a fantastic track. What a great blues song that is. It's really about a woman whose man is clearly an alcoholic and prefers the bottle to her, and it's a sad song if you listen to the lyrics, but yeah, it's a very, if you don't know it, check it out. Rory Block, Lovin' Whiskey. That's a great song. Okay, what's the next question? A bad album with a cool cover. Now this might be a little bit controversial because, you know, the album, I like to think I don't have any bad albums, but everybody likes to think that, right? But I did find one that I'm not a huge fan of. I like a couple of the songs, but anyway, that's Alanis Morissette, Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie. I like the cover. The artwork's great. I mean, look at that. There's a mouth, you know. Yeah, she's got a good set of teeth. But the album itself, I've never been a huge fan of it. I got this because it was from Groovers, which was a record store in Riverside that was going out of business. It was only $5. It was brand new. And like I said, I do like the song Thank You. There's one or two others that, you know, are okay as well. But I certainly, when you compare this to Jagged Little Pill, the album that came before it, I mean, there's no comparison. Jagged Little Pills, I think, at least close to a masterpiece. I think it's one of the best albums of the 90s. and this was such a letdown. But I do like the artwork, so, you know. Next up, let's see, a blues album. I don't have that many blues albums. I only have a few, but this is one I bought recently, and I did show it, so I'm going to show it again. John Lee Hooker, The Real Blues. I picked this up from the Rat Hole, $10. I got it because it has Boom Boom on it, which was the only song of his I knew, but the whole album's really good. Next question, an earworm song. I assume this is just like a song that makes you feel good. It has a nice tone to it. I don't know. It was a kind of a strange question, but I picked a 7-inch single. I think this is one of the best pop songs of the 80s. Waiting for a Star to Fall by Boy Meets Girl. What a great pop song this is. It's from 1988, but it was a hit in the UK in 89, so I don't know. It was also famously used as the closing credits on 3 Men and a Little Baby, the movie. So yeah. Next question, a historically important artist. I don't know. They're all, most of them, you know. What are you going to pick? The Beatles, Elvis? I don't know. But I thought about it, and I went with Eric Clapton. Now, this is going to please Amber. Amber Lee. She's a little bit of a Clapton fanatic. Anyway, I thought, you know, Clapton, and I have a few of his albums, so I picked out 461 Ocean Boulevard. This, of course, famously has I Shot the Sheriff on it. But anyway, I picked this one. I picked Clapton because, you know, the more I thought about it, I thought, geez, you know, not only has he had an amazing solo career, but he was involved with Cream, Blind Faith. He was involved in with the Beatles. You know, he famously played guitar on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. So he's really one of the most important people in rock history when you really think about it. So, and he's still going. He's still going strong. Hang on, I got to scroll down on my questions here. I got them on my laptop. Okay. And question number 13: an album you own because of your parents. Well, I did find this one, but the question implies that the album's not very good, whereas I actually think this is a great album, and that's Boney M, Night Flight to Venus. However, I'm sure one of the reasons I like it is that my parents had it, and I listened to it when I was a kid. I always liked it. I liked the artwork. Here's the back of it. I like the songs. You know, you guys know I like all kinds of music, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I like. I mean, most of this is kind of disco-y. Yeah, it's disco, most of it. But this has got most of the biggest hits on it. I mean, Rasputin, Rivers of Babylon, Brown Girl in the Ring, which was the B-side to Rivers of Babylon, but that hit number 2 in its own right in the UK. So, I mean, just they did a great cover of Heart of Gold by Neil Young. I like their cover of Roger Miller's King of the Road as well. So, you know, yeah, that's what I went with. Next up, question 14, best dollar bin find. Well, this was also from the Rat Hole. It was $1.88 if you want to call that a dollar bin find, but Wings, Band on the Run. I already had this. This was an upgrade copy, but, you know, in the shrink with a hype sticker, less than $2. It's absolutely mint. I mean, come on. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, the question's a little bit ambiguous. I assumed that this meant my best dollar or bargain bin find of the last year. Maybe it means ever. I don't know. Anyway, I'll still go with that. Question number 15, favorite double album, without question. The Beatles, 1967 to 1970. If I could only ever listen to one album ever again, it might be this one. You know, if I was allowed to include greatest hits albums, compilations. I mean, especially disc 1. I mean, what is it to say? I mean, this, you know, I like my early Beatles. Don't get me wrong, I love the Beatles. Have all of their albums, but the 67 to 70, that's the golden period for me. It really is. You know, some people prefer the early stuff, and that's fine. But I always like their latest stuff. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. An album you learned about from the VC in the last year. Well, I kind of cheated a little bit on this one, but anyway, The Church, Starfish. Now, Hannah showed this on her channel, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other people did. I say I cheated because I already knew of The Church, and I did know the song Under the Milky Way. but I wasn't familiar with the album, and I'd forgotten all about the song until people started talking about it. And like I said, Hannah showed it, and that kind of inspired me. So I went on eBay and picked this up, and this is a great album. I mean, Under the Milky Way is still a fantastic song, but the whole album is really good. Okay, a 10-inch record, question 17. I don't own any 10-inch records. I had one that came from Vinyl Me Please, I think. I traded it in. I never even opened it. Sorry. Question 18, a 7-inch record. I mean, I've got hundreds of them, so I don't know. I actually decided to go with Prince, Sign of the Times. Now, this was very generously sent to me by John, who is a viewer in Switzerland. And I'd forgotten what a great song this was. I didn't have it. And you know, he sent it to me, and I played it, and this is a fantastic song. And so thank you again, John. I've played this a number of times since that first spin, and I mean, what a great track. Question 19, favorite album to fall asleep to? I couldn't answer it. I don't know. I don't usually fall asleep to albums. Occasionally it happens, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. You know, I'll just be tired. It's not like it has to be a certain genre or a certain artist or a particular album. It could be anything. I fall asleep very easily. So yeah. Final question. Your favorite VC experience or advice for people contemplating making videos? So, and again, I am assuming this is talking about the last year, and I had a little bit of a surreal experience that I talked about at the time on my channel, but Gregory Short and I were in the Mad Platter record store, and somebody came up to us who watched both of our channels. It was a tiny slice of what it's like to be recognized, which is, you know, not that I have that many subscribers or anything like that. Greg certainly has more than I do, but it was just a funny thing to have somebody. I mean, I guess we were in a record store. There's only so many people around here in Divine, I guess, but still, it was just a funny thing to have somebody say, "Oh, I recognize those voices," and how, you know, he watches both our channels. His name was Justin, and I think if I remember, he said that he doesn't usually comment, but he does usually watch. So, Justin, if you're watching, you know, leave a comment. Leave a comment. So now, the other part of the question was advice for people who are thinking about making videos on YouTube. I would say have fun with it. Do what's fun for you. If you like the bells and whistles, if you like the video making process, which I do, you know, whether that's having a fancy intro, whether that's having graphics or, you know, special effects happening on the screen, whatever it might be, then go for it. That's what you like to do, you know. If you prefer something simpler, like a more stripped down video, a lot of people have no, in fact, most people have no, you know, there's no intro. You just get straight into it. You just talk, and then that's it. Which is how my videos used to be for a long time. But I found that I enjoyed doing more with them. You know, I don't. It's not right or wrong. It's just the way it is. I found that I liked that creative part of it. Same reason why I got into the Instagram in the last month or so. I enjoy the creative side of it, you know, finding things to take pictures of and taking the photos and whatnot. It's just something I enjoy. Not everybody will, and it's the same thing with the videos. Not everybody's going to want to either take the time or you know, or they think it's unnecessary to have anything other than themselves talking, and that's fine, you know. That's not a wrong point of view. It's perfectly valid, and I think there's you know, like I said, just have fun with it. That's all I can say. Do your thing, because if you're not having fun with it, what's the point? You know, don't feel you have to make some fancy intro if you don't want to. On the other hand, if you think, you know, I want to explore that creative side of things, then go for it. Have fun with it. Yeah. So that's it. Oh, I've kept this at about 20 minutes. That's pretty good. You know, there's a lot of questions. So, thank you guys as always for watching. I don't know if you learned anything. Maybe you did learn something. Maybe you guys learned that I wear glasses. Here you go. So we learned something at least. But thank you as always for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to become a subscriber. hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when I post new videos. And thank you as always for watching. Until next time, bye bye.